Sometimes I like to listen to the city's pulse. I hear it best when the people are asleep, or when I'm alone. It was a warm night, and I wanted to feel the breeze on my face. I took a walk to the local observatory, a place of peace for me. I wanted to reflect on all the sacrifices made, and just how far I truly have come. Has this pandemic affected your empathy, viewer? Because I don't know if the population deserves my healthcare anymore. It may not affect you, but I saw it firsthand in hospice. I saw the respite and hospice center that me and my surrogate family worked so hard to keep open, empty and volunteerless. The nurses weren't overwhelmed, but they definitely had their hands full. My own flesh and blood almost brought the virus home to my immunocompromised mother. So we left the city and traveled to a safer place. Little did I know that I would be thoroughly, completely, and fully humbled for the rest of that year. People ask me why I'm so fascinated in psychology. I went in because I didn't know how this little action caused this much damage. Melodic Rain intentionally and purposefully psychologically abused me by giving me a friend circle and taking it away. On the psychological needs, that is for belongingness and love. Mix in her faking her own death when I was finally starting to heal into genetic predisposition to mental health, it was the perfect storm for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I spent an entire year with my heart muscle going so fast and being so sore that I didn't know if I would wake up the next morning. And with stories from our mutuals showing that this isn't isolated behavior, I went on YouTube and started calling her out. I shouldn't have been so aggressive. My two best friends at the time, both distanced themselves from me because of how aggressively I was going after this person with the, frankly, situational evidence that I put out. Again, the only real reason that this occurred is because of the perfect storm scenario that I talked about earlier. One of those peoples was my comedy YouTube partner, and people always ask, Sean, why don't you just make funny videos? Because, you know, while I can make solo comedy, and sometimes it does kind of stand on its own, it doesn't hold a candle to what me and my old YouTube partner used to be able to achieve. It's just not the same, and it doesn't feel right. I'm fairly sure before that I've mentioned that I've lost a friend, and we were on bad terms. He was a good kid, but
he had a lot to prove.
My encounter with Melody and my pursuit of justice changed me, and we fell out, and he took that to the grave. And his passing reminded me of who I am, an empathetic, caring person. So when Ruza got involved and actually defended Melody just because we disagreed politically, well, here's that quick story. A good friend of mine, one that I know is trustworthy and does not lie, approached me with a story that was in line with Melody's character and exposed her as being a pedophile. So I brought this to Ruza and my friend both requested Kick do a data poll so we can get this video. Kick has not answered us, and they basically ghosted us. If they didn't have it, they should have told us, and if they did have it, they should have given it to us. Either the request was never received, or Kick is incompetent. Because Ruza got impatient, and we disagreed politically, she decided to expose me, and, and call the entire allegations that Ruza was a psychological manipulator, which I had her dead to rights to, by the way, and the allegations of pedophilia completely false. Let me get one thing straight right now. Melody has and will continue to psychologically abuse people. Whether or not she's a pedophile is simply up in the air. For the other things Ruza exposed me for, I have videos in the description that will go over those quickly. So when Ruza tried to paint me as the worst person imaginable using the picture that is proof of me trying to do better and reclaim that empathy that I had under my surrogate family's banner, of course I was going to react negatively. I mean, that picture was manipulated out by pressing my buttons very, very maliciously. I'm going to wrap this up by unveiling some information that Flazefire and Alfie know before they can tell it before I can. I trusted these two individuals with information on my mental health. And I was recently diagnosed with PTSD. And I am going to finish out this video by explaining the backstory of my character. Since I was having invasive thoughts and medical marijuana was helping with it, I kind of already suspected that it was that. So, how I've been functioning is probably one of the worst and most toxic coping mechanisms that you can use. I use these really negative uh, emotions and intrusive thoughts as motivation to continue doing better and to continue on. That's why on the left side of my character's face, it's stasis. It's something undeniably bad being used for something good.